You hooligans. French baguettes are like no other. Yeah, that's what I've learned. You know, it's actually... Okay, I'll go into this after I introduce the players. Best of 5 TvT Grand Finals. Bottom right, we have HeRoMaRinE. Top left, it is Clem. It went through a bit of a TvP gambit here, but now down at the TvT, which HeRoMaRinE has been winning a little bit more reliably lately. So I think I will give him the victory 3-1. Would be my prediction. But anywho, we're talking about baguettes, and I forget what I was gonna say. Shit. I guess I won't talk about it. Wow, I really lost my train of thought there, didn't I? Amazing. Oh, okay, wait, hold on. I found it, guys. I found it. I found the train. All right, so one thing is like French baguettes, like just are going to be too unique and too mastered to ever be replicated anywhere else, what it kind of feels like. But, you know, you can obviously buy baguettes in other countries. And as far as like stick up your nose and go like, oh, that's not a baguette. It's not exactly how they make it. Like, meh, whatever. But I feel like, while like a general baguette from like the grocery store in America is like, okay, it's passable, I do actually find it very difficult to find some bakery in like an hour's worth of driving, right? Like maybe in somewhere else, maybe. Haven't like gone across the United States to look for this, but as far as I can tell, within an hour's drive of me, I can't find a bakery that actually really truly does try to copy the French baked goods. And aside from that, like getting it exactly right, you know, maybe that's a little bit too much to ask. Even as far as just being like, you know what I'd really like? I would really like a hard baguette-like roll to put my sandwich on. I find it very difficult to find in America. I know most people, especially Europeans, are very quick to make fun of American bread, but I always think it's a bit dramatic because they just assume that all of us eat Wonder Bread. And obviously that is an option, but that's a bit dramatic, guys. Like, we do have bakeries that sell good bread, Italian bread, French bread, baguettes that aren't quite close enough, so on and so forth. But it is overall a bit annoying. Like, if you really have a hankering for that, like, it's really hard to replicate. I'll agree with that much. Oh, hey, sir, girl. So we had a little bit of a Factory v Factory opener. What else is new in TvT on Lightshade? Oh, and then what else? Not much. A little bit of scuffle, but they both have the exact same units, so unless one was way overconfident with their micro. This is different. HeRoMaRinE goes for a high ground command center. Clem goes for low ground command center. Perhaps HeRoMaRinE a bit fearful of his opponent's ability to go for like a 5 Reaper 3 Hellion opener. I would have also thrown out the idea of him trying to hide that it's a command center, but it actually was scouted, so. So that's actually a fairly nice boost to Clem's economy. Not only should he be up in SCV, but he'll also have faster mules, because his orbital will already be done and already have energy. Clem is followed up with a Cyclone and a Medevac. So he's gonna go across the map. Apply some pressure here. HeRoMaRinE also went for a Medevac, but a tank. Then a Cyclone. So this is a bit interesting. The Cyclone's not in the Medevac for Clem. Maybe he could have dropped it to try and kill his opponent's Medevac, but they both fly across each other's Medevacs. They both know, and Clem pulls his SCVs. HeRoMaRinE does not. But HeRoMaRinE perhaps ready to collapse in one way or the other. Clem looking to just defend one location. It's actually really, really weird. I don't know how much they're expecting each other to do the exact same drop, tank or Widowmine, but yeah, it's come out to what it is right now, and that's Clem having a tank defending his high ground, and HeRoMaRinE having, well, no tank to defend his high ground, but Clem having really enough firepower, I guess, to push the issue. It's actually a bit weird. SCVs were pulled away. So HeRoMaRiNE's gonna save at least some. While he continues to deny some mining over here, but the tank of HeRoMaRiNE's gonna get taken down and actually just gonna tap out. Overall, he was down 7 workers, 10 army supply. And with, I guess, how early on the game was, that really did spell GG. Yeah, okay, yeah. I think we could have seen some other people like try and kind of hobble along and hope maybe their opponent missed micros or doesn't take advantage of their victory, but... Have you ever tried Vietnamese baguettes? I have. I have never been impressed by them, and I assume you're meaning like banh mi's as well. Like, I've never seen the appeal there. I've gotten one from a just okay place. I've gotten one after a friend was like, you gotta try this place. It's the best. You're gonna understand why everyone loves these. And in both times, I was like, okay. I guess if I really want a sandwich. Honestly, if I really want a sandwich, though, I just go to a Jewish deli. But that does make sense that Vietnam would be somewhat similar. I mean, they have taken a lot of, let's say influence from the French. You could also say that they were forced to take influence from the French. You know, either way. Top left of Romanticide, we have HeRoMaRiNE. Bottom right, it is Clem, who's up a game. And it's HeRoMaRiNE who's going to almost desperately go for a 2-racks. Obviously, it's not actually desperate. It's just game 2 of a best of 5. He's just looking to kind of reset the momentum. Thinks it's going to work. It's on Romanticide, which is one of the maps where you could have the other Terran 1-racks expand. So, makes a lot of sense for those reasons, but it is kind of funny because a lot of the times in the past, especially in the Open Cups, Clem has had a decent shot in game number 1, loses because it's a bit topsy-turvy, but not really anything totally bad. Like, no, it was an even game, but it just went the way that it did. Can't say that Clem was bad at TvT because of it. Then game 2, he tries to apply a lot of pressure and take control earlier on, because that's where Clem feels very powerful, and that doesn't work. And then game 3 tries to macro and doesn't work either. Like, that has been at least 2 of the more recent best of 5s I can think between these 2 players. Or Clem tries 2 kind of normal TvT builds, and then is like, fuck, I can't beat this guy, let's just 2-racks. So it is kind of funny that the script's a little flipped. But Clem, not one of those players who's gonna try and go for a 1-racks expand, even on Romanticide. So he should already be better set up against the 2-racks. Now it's all about the micro. Does Clem miss micro? Does he have a Reaper outside of his base? Way too gung-ho. Has to pull it back, gets caught off guard. Like, that's the worst case scenario. Because Clem definitely hasn't scouted here. Oh, also another bad scenario is if he goes for a reactor right afterwards. Ooh, he's gonna look for the 2-racks and he doesn't find it. Oh no. Oh, if he found the 2-racks, I'm guessing he cancels that reactor. Oh no, it's also pretty bad. Because now he doesn't have a second Reaper. The first Reaper is out of position. Oh no. It's not quite GG, but it's so much damage. Oh, if he had a second Reaper instead of that reactor, then it's, you know, maybe a couple SCVs killed, but he still has a chance to win the game. But now, maybe not. 1 Reaper does get surrounded, to be fair. But second Reaper low, still healthy, still adding in that damage, and now this is too much damage. It doesn't matter that Clem has a faster command center, especially because it could still be stalled out. HeRoMaRiNE at 3 Reapers again, and if he waits for the health to return, could tackle the Hellion. As seen here. Ooh, it's so much damage. Clem, hey, he loses 4 or 5 SCVs, and his command center is delayed. I think it might still come out to be quite even, but 7 and his command center being delayed. It's gonna be a bit tough to play out this game. But at least it's not 10 SCVs killed, right? Think of the positives. Clem lives. He's gonna have his own kind of fighting force, actually, with the Hellions. If he can go across the map, if he can deal with these Reapers fast enough. Gotta be careful, though. Gotta be careful. The Hellions up against the concave of Reapers don't do so hot. He has to pull his SCVs to repair these Hellions because he really doesn't want to snowball. It's not even about going across the map right now. The Reaper presence is too great. But it's about making sure it doesn't snowball, so you gotta repair the Hellions. Ugh. HeRoMaRiNE's actually just gonna go for the attack, by the way. He's continuing to build Reapers, and the Cyclone might make its way across the map. It might stay at home if he's worried about what a starport could provide, but I don't know. Specifically because he's continuing to make Reapers, I assume it's gonna come across the map. Yep, it is. Yeah, well... Clem still down 7 workers, by the way. Despite his command center finishing faster, it just was so much damage to take. Here's the Cyclone. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Clem's gonna lose his Cyclone and lose the game. Again, if not because of this push, then just because of the repercussions. The fact that HeRoMaRiNE has 2 command centers done, building SCVs, up 7 workers with a 3rd CC on the way, and Clem doesn't have all of that. It's a really tough game to lose, too. Because it does feel like, yeah, if I just played this... Oh, whoa, bad lock-on there. HeRoMaRiNE missed micros. Accidentally, it forces the lock-on to the rocks. Gets the correct lock-on afterwards, but it's broken, so... HeRoMaRiNE's not going to win right here and now. Yeah, it's still kind of a tough game to lose. If Clem loses it, maybe he can bring it back. Because there's been a couple times where Clem's like, I'm okay. I'm bleeding, but I'm okay. And then if you still end up losing, if you think like, oh, I'm just barely doing well enough. I'm just barely doing well enough. I can really do this. I can really do this. And HeRoMaRiNE just like stomps your face in with 20 Marines, 4 tanks, and like a couple of Ravens. Like, you're going to feel really bad. I would anyways. I don't know if Clem does. It is not really a secret. I don't think it's an unpopular opinion to say that Clem is not the strongest mentality-wise of all of our pros. His clutch factor doesn't seem to be as high as, you know, when Cyril and Raynor started to dominate the international, no, the foreign scene. Let's say that. Let's say the foreign scene. But it's definitely not the worst. Don't want to make it sound like he's constantly breaking down over a loss. He's not. Ooh, this is pretty nice. Good lock onto the tank. There was one on the high ground for HeRoMaRiNE, so he probably thought that second tank position was safe enough, but no, not quite. Clem is still down 8 workers, down an entire command center, and has not started stim or 1-1 or his additional barracks. There's been worse TvTs. There's been more amazing comebacks than what Clem could be doing here. But yeah, it's pretty tough. You might try and do a push and use these Liberators to siege up right in front of HeRoMaRiNE's face. The time is running short, though, on Liberator effectiveness. Because the Marine count's starting to really grow for HeRoMaRiNE. His reactors are finishing up. 5 Marines at a time is pretty good. Actually, he already has 5 barracks, so it's not even... Okay, I thought it was 3. It's 5. He's got all 5 barracks done, and Clem is just finishing his additional 2 barracks. Yikes. But yeah, so now maybe the Liberators could be used to harass. They feel a bit, in a way, cheesy. In a way. No, not cheesy. Cheesy is not the right word. They feel high risk, high reward. Cheese has other attributes that make it cheese, but this does feel like it's very risky. I mean, Vikings are kind of the more, well, how to say, like, direct fighting force that have dependable contributions to a move out. Liberators, obviously they can be really good, but especially if you're talking about a good Marine force, which HeRoMaRinE now has, they're really not that good. So they better be used harassment-wise. And then are they going to get enough damage done as harassment units to make up for not building Vikings, for not building medevacs, for not transferring the starport onto a barracks, the reactor that is? Like, maybe. HeRoMaRinE did try to set up missile turrets to stop exactly that, but both missile turrets did not actually hit the mark. This one didn't hit this left Liberator, and this one, well, got on free to the main base. So this is actually so much damage. I am truly eating my words. 20 SCVs go down. And that was also scouted, right? The missile turrets were there. HeRoMaRinE knew about it, and he still took that much damage. I'm not feeling bad about miscalling that one. Missile turret does stop further auto turret harassments as the Ravens are now stuck on this side of the map. They cannot help back at home. Clem, though, starting to show some wisdom beyond his years. Tried to pull back and play the conservative game. Doesn't really matter. I love that he tried lifting off his third command center. He knew that he couldn't defend his third and everything else, but didn't have enough forces in the main base to stop the big old drop into the main. And now his command center's on fire. He's coming with a big concave, I suppose, but he's got no upgrades, he's got no combat shields. That is worrisome. SCVs get pulled in as well. That's an equalizing little drop at the very least, if not game winning. Yep, it's game winning. HeRoMaRinE takes the lead in every single regard. Upgrades, production, army supply, worker counts. And Clem is just clinging on here. GG.
Resubscription received. Apparently you are doing something right, Captain.
Tactical Tortoise, thank you for the 6-month resub. Oogly woogly boogly woo. Same to you. In the top right of 2,000 atmospheres, we have HeRoMaRinE now having evened up the score. Bottom left, it is Clem. Clem tried his best, but the amount of damage a 2-racks opener did to him, just a little too much. And then nothing else quite went his way. He got a little fortunate with HeRoMaRinE mismicroing on the rocks, sure, but that's like the only thing that went his way, right? I could absolutely see someone losing 7 SCVs to the 2-racks and still maybe like getting the better Cyclone trade or getting a Raven auto turret harassment that kills 4 SCVs later on, and it starts to bridge the gap. But yeah, after the 7 SCVs went down, I just felt like Clem didn't have anything really go well for him. Not well enough anyways. And it's the 7 SCVs plus the fact that he has to stay at home with all of his units. He can't go across the map to kill SCVs with his Hellions because he has to take the Reaper threat seriously. It's the fact that he had to pull his SCVs off the line to constantly repair those Hellions to make sure it didn't snowball. Did HeRoMaRinE make units that eventually also fall off? Yeah, he did. He made, 7-ish Reapers, all said and done. But I think they did exactly what they were supposed to do, and a little bit then some, with the first 3 Reapers doing kind of the job of ending the game to a degree. Certainly putting it in a position that HeRoMaRinE should win, and then he did. Factory expand versus 1-racks expand, actually. HeRoMaRinE feeling confident enough as he makes sure to scout the barracks being in Clem's home before slapping down his command center. To 1-racks expand, and 2,000 atmospheres is the second map that we would expect people to do this on. Romanicide and 2,000 atmospheres. And 2,000 atmospheres is even a bit of a longer rush distance, so... I think it's been a while. Romanicide's large, decent rush distance, but really it's more of just like the size of its left to right that people mean when they say that it's a very large map. 2,000 atmospheres might be 36 seconds. For Romanicide's 35 seconds. Something like that. Could look it up. Do I have anything else to do? No, it also is 35 seconds. Okay, so it's exact same. Never mind then. Well, then there you go. Both kind of the maps I think we would see it on. This time HeRoMaRinE gets away with it. Clem, I mean, chances are he'll do something with his Reapers, especially since he's going into a lot of Reapers, to equalize the command center gap, but this Reaper of HeRoMaRinE, well, it might sacrifice itself. It delays the command center even further, gets in and sees maybe not enough information. It doesn't actually see the 2 Reapers popping out here. But if it lives, that could be okay too. Speaking of 2 Reapers though, these ones went across the map ASAP and have grabbed 4 SCVs, looking for a 5th. They grab it, they die for it. HeRoMaRiNE's Reaper is finally going to scout the additional Reapers from Clem, by the way, as it also gets taken out. And where does that put HeRoMaRiNE defensively? He's got a bunker, he's got a Hellion, he's going up against 2 Reapers. Okay. Probably okay then. But ultimately, that means Clem is now ahead 2 workers, although his command center still isn't done. So... not enough? Maybe not enough. Maybe enough to just barely equalize it, or maybe not enough. I'm gonna go with either one of those. I don't think Clem has gotten himself a lead. As we're talking about this extra mule already being down, command centers are already producing 2 SCVs, you know. It's all very small stuff right now. Clem, it might get a couple extra SCVs with a Reaper dive, though. HeRoMaRiNE's trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Otherwise, Clem just going for the attack on the front is going to be thwarted by a bunker. He's going to go for the attack at the front, though. HeRoMaRiNE's very close to having his tank out. Viking is here, actually. I guess he was quite aware of Clem's potential medevac pressure. Clem does add a medevac decently enough. Otherwise, you wouldn't really get anything but a tech lab and a Raven. And then Vikings later on, but you don't usually get the Viking first and foremost. So medevac is here, and this is exactly where the Viking wished it was, but actually the Cyclone grabs the tank with a lock-on, which is also pretty damn good. Viking comes in as well to make sure the medevac does get destroyed, which means it's only the Marines. Cyclone in the natural, though, from Clem's gonna get some revenge, but it looks of things barely just gonna get the tank as a trade. Woof. Woof. And the Marines are cleaned up. HeRoMaRiNE, though, now might have room to do some just... I was gonna say maybe you can use this Viking to harass. I don't know if a Cyclone can do very much. It could take map control though, and maybe stop like this Raven, for instance, right? HeRoMaRiNE is gonna send a Hellion out to go for some scouting, but now everything's said and done. 3cc to 3cc. Clem's a little ahead. He's also managed to create the tiniest little SCV lead, like literally 5 seconds on the SCV production. Does that count? I don't know. But HeRoMaRiNE comes out of that with a bit of a stronger army. Not too much stronger, though. Pretty damn even. We'll see how the first tank Raven move out works. Clem adds on engineering bays a bit faster, adds on barracks a bit faster. He is slightly in the lead, I think, for all the important factors. The army supply is very deceiving, because I don't know if HeRoMaRiNE's Cyclone is going to help out. It has trouble against a growing number of tanks and Marines, right? I don't know if his 1 Viking will be especially helpful, but his faster reinforcements absolutely will. And he is moving into double Vikings, so... he'll have the air control, for sure. Clem gets a bit faster to that third command center. Continuing, bumping up his SCV lead just ever so slightly. He's got 1-1 already started, which is probably the biggest thing. HeRoMaRiNE's 1-1 not being afforded quite yet. He's almost there. Hey, there we go. HeRoMaRiNE's 5 Vikings are definitely the scariest thing right now. Clem went for faster barracks production, which means he does have 5 Marines at a time already producing, so he's already up to 19. But that's not quite enough to be overwhelming. HeRoMaRiNE looking a bit better with the Viking control, to be honest. The interference matrix could come down as well. They're not going to, but oh, don't, Clem! Oh my god, he didn't have vision. He was bullied away. No scan came down. His tanks get taken out, and HeRoMaRiNE recognized he didn't even have to throw down auto turrets to do that. So now he has auto turrets on the right side. Now he has auto turrets for the SCV pull. Oh, man. GG. As soon as I saw Clem's tanks siege, I know what I would have done. I would have just assumed that we were both going to attack each other and slap down all my spellcasters, which probably still would have been fine. The auto turrets would have taken down the tanks, or the interference matrix would have allowed the other tanks to win. But HeRoMaRiNE, even better, realizes that he's not going to get hit by his opponent's tanks, holds on to the Raven energy, and uses it only when he needs to. I wish I was that good. In the top right of Oxide, we have HeRoMaRiNE, now up 2-1. And in the bottom left on his last life, it is Liquid Clem. Clem. Clem does love his pressure builds on Oxide, so I wouldn't be surprised to see another medevac build here. It worked out fine last game, I would say. It was really a hard game to call. They both had different benefits. The direct benefit for Clem was a slight economic lead. The direct benefit for HeRoMaRiNE, in numbers anyways, was that his army supply was a bit bigger. But then as far as like everything else that makes a TvT work, upgrades are faster for Clem. Production was faster for Clem when it came to barracks production. And it seemed like his scouting was good enough to know that his opponent was going to push him, right? Because his tanks were siege as if he was prepared to take the fight. It just ended up that he couldn't actually take the fight. For HeRoMaRiNE, doesn't have the upgrades as fast, doesn't have the production as fast, but does have Viking control. And that's just, you know, that's actually a lot of a just decision making. Clem doesn't go for Vikings, he puts those resources into barracks. The barracks eventually do pay off because more Marines is going to be better as we head into the mid-game of TvT. They're going to get concaves, they're going to be more mobile, they're going to get surrounds, they're going to be able to drop. The Vikings are far superior when it comes to a direct push when you're still mostly, you know, technology-based, when you're still mostly depending on your tanks. But the Vikings came in, as I said, bullied away Clem's army so that he couldn't have his Ravens on the front lines, and he couldn't have vision of his opponent's tanks. Which I'm guessing he just didn't consider, just like I didn't. And if he was given a second chance there, he immediately scans. So at least he's trading out damage, but... yeah. It's tough. Had he lived past that fight, all those other benefits that I was talking about, the barracks and the upgrades, are like so much better for him, but HeRoMaRiNE strikes when he's at his strongest. And now Clem is going to go for one of those aggressive medevac builds I was talking about. Medevac and a Liberator, possibly. Just maybe. I didn't actually think he was going to proxy the starport. I'm not giving myself that much credit, but... Oxide seems to bring out the most aggressive in Clem. He's got Hellions on the way, so HeRoMaRiNE's going to be able to scout that. Not really much else you're going to be using a TvT super fast factory reactor on. Manages to escape with one Reaper? One little Reaper? I could go around and look for any proxies. If HeRoMaRiNE's thinking about it. HeRoMaRiNE's gonna add on a second Cyclone, which I like. And he's looking around for a proxy starport. Look at that. Look at that. Gonna check the most obvious location first, and this is the most obvious location. This is not very obvious at all. He's not gonna be able to scout it. Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Just kidding. Yep, he goes around. He goes around. It's as the medevac pops, though, so it's, you know, now is the time to get your units in position, but no way you're going to be changing any of your builds. But unit positioning is probably the most important thing anyways. As long as HeRoMaRiNE had any indication that this was coming, it's just about his unit positioning. Going for a tank after a Cyclone would have put HeRoMaRiNE in more of a rigid type of defense, I guess you could say. But going for multiple Cyclones against this, which, you know, this is going to try and find him out of position. I really like that. I think Clem noticed the medevac, right? That's why he's returning home, knows that HeRoMaRiNE... Oh my god! All the Cyclones are around. Oh, running right into all those Cyclones. Oh, so unfortunate. Medevac and Hellions could have at least pretended to have a counterattack run by potential, and now it's like one Hellion. Sorry, man, he didn't do anything. Clem's pretty screwed by the looks of things. He's got a tank about to pop out. Oh, a Cyclone is going to get a lock on the medevac, but it's boosted away to be saved just barely. And speaking of being saved, Clem's Cyclone also is barely saved. Ooh, that could have snowballed. That could have spiraled. If that Cyclone dies quicker, the medevac doesn't have to micro as far away. Then maybe they could micro on top of the tank. But now, the tank's out. It's siege. The Vikings pop. Should be able to ward away the medevac. Whew. It's been a bit of a topsy-turvy game. HeRoMaRiNE had a lot of potential in the counterattack, but Clem, finding all the right units at the right time, manages to hold. Now he's got his own little feisty army here, a bit of a supply lead in the SCVs as well. Equal third command centers. HeRoMaRiNE's gonna go into Vikings once again with a bit faster stim. Clem, no Vikings, or no Ravens, but he has 4 Vikings. He'll definitely have that air control. Thing about Clem's air control is that it could be bopped. 3 Cyclones of HeRoMaRiNE still sharking around looking for those big pickoffs. Cyclone's an okay pickoff. Doesn't even get it, actually. Really wanted the Vikings or a tank. That'd be most ideal. HeRoMaRiNE is setting up offensively, something that Clem might not be expecting. He's actually scanning a 3rd CC, sees it coming over, and at least has more of an understanding of how the game builds are planning out, but he doesn't know where the army is. It's suspiciously not around the 3rd base, so he knows it's somewhere on the map. Not exactly where. And his army is so positional right now. Clem's going into mech, guys. That's very odd for him. But he's finally going to try and give it a go. Has HeRoMaRinE identified that? He is building 2 reactors, so no, he has not. He hasn't seen the gas timings in the natural. He hasn't seen the main base, the amount of factories being built, because for a long time, these early Terran versus Terran armies are going to look mechish. And then, you know, the barracks get finished, and they start building Marines. But until then, it can be a little ambiguous, and I don't think HeRoMaRinE is even really thinking about the possibility that his opponent's going into mech, because Clem never mechs! Clem does, however, sometimes run face first into HeRoMaRinE's army and dies a painful, painful death. And that's what happened here, guys. Very cool. Oh, it's really nice from HeRoMaRinE. HeRoMaRinE actually playing kind of a cool little army movement thing there, where he basically was like, I'm pretty sure Clem's gonna try to attack me, and I'm gonna take control of this plateau and be able to cut him off. I don't think he was specifically thinking of cutting off a mech army. I don't think he was specifically thinking it was gonna win him the game. But it did both. It found a mech push.